Okay, so the underlying energy is the Queen of Pentacles. Look at that. Committing to something, commitment. The Queen of Pentacles is committed to things, right? She don't put her time and effort into something half-assed. She's in it or she's not. And I think that there's something here that's definitely rose to the occasion. It's met you at as far as worth goes. You guys could be dealing with a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn right now as well. Male or female, it doesn't really matter. If you see yourself as the more dominant energy, this may be the other person. Or excuse me, the more masculine energy, this may be the other person. If you see yourself as much more feminine, then the other person may be, then you may be the Queen of Cups is coming up. And the Knight of Cups is coming up underneath that with the King of Wands. Damn. So I don't know if you guys have like knew this person before, maybe had a conversation with this person before, but this person, it definitely brings out your fire, right? There's a lot of passion, a lot of romance, and definitely desire to commit to this person, put time and effort towards this, building a relationship with this individual. Really nice, family, really nice. So, like the Queen of Pentacles too also takes her time with things, takes her time with looking at the details, figuring out, so of course assessing his worth, but also puts a lot of hard work and effort towards it. And I feel like you guys are definitely putting a lot of hard work and effort to something that you are growing to love. Or if you don't, I feel like this person may be your ideal lover as well. This person definitely is parallel to the Two of Cups in the best path to follow. So I kind of feel like you and this person are already rocking some pretty strong vibes as far as feelings go. So it's almost like either there's like an in-depth, an intense feeling of emotions towards this individual. This could be your ideal partner. This could also indicate to me too that you guys are really just like enjoying this person's company. You feel really good with this individual. This person is also very romantic with you, but they also may be the receiver in this time. They may not be taking a lot of action at this moment on as far as advancing towards you, and that can kind of make things a little bit of a unnecessarily desirable place. Because I know you Leos, you guys have big hearts, you guys go for what you want, there's no resisting, there's no bigger some of you, some people, I know some people out here think that they could say anything first, or wait for the other person to say something they really want to be interested, even though you're interested, and that's not necessarily very authentic. But I definitely feel like this person has been kind of sitting back, not necessarily taking the first step. I think you've been taking the first leap, and then now you're like, well, we're struggling now because I'm not necessarily interested in continuing to put myself out there with there not necessarily being a lot of follow through on the other person's part. So this person is remaining a dream, remaining a romantic partner or a romantic ideal, but they're not necessarily like a real thing yet. And I think that's why the Queen of Pentacles coming in. It's like, what is real about this relationship? I feel like Leos, you're taking this relationship, you're feeling the vibes like, yes, I found somebody that makes me feel good, but at the same time, they're not physically a part of my life, which is why you have so many Pentacles coming up in the first place in this reading. So the past B is showing up as the Nine of Cups, or I always do this with this card because I see the coins and I'm like, ooh, see, cups. No, Nine of Pentacles. So Nine of Coins is coming up for you guys in the past. Definitely living a single life. Kind of bored though, but you were having a good time with yourself, right? Like, I feel like you guys were like, you knew your worth, you knew your value, definitely successful in some sort in your work, if not becoming more successful, but you feel really secure in who you are. And of course, this can also indicate maybe you're building a gilded cage, maybe not letting a lot of people in, not really creating a lot of space for people to come into your life. So you kind of always had like things always preoccupying your attention and your time, beneficial and really constructive ways of doing it, but they weren't necessarily in a like live life freely kind of way. It was more of like, okay, well, this is what I do to kind of keep my mind off of doing other things, like some things to maybe distract you from, either pursuing a relationship, inviting people in, opening your doors to, people to, get to know you and, expand your knowing and everything like that. Could be some like guarded energy here in a very passive way through work and stuff like that. Some of you guys may be doing that, but some of you guys definitely with feeling the single life ready to open those doors up, maybe feeling really not alone, but definitely ready to open that door, right? You're ready to kind of invite new people in. Or you guys definitely were newly single and enjoying that space and the time away from people, not necessarily trying to connect with somebody. But then here we are with the Five of Pentacles. We go from, okay, I'm feeling confident in myself to, oh my God, we don't really have a lot to do with, like we don't really have a lot to work on. Not that there's nothing, because I feel like there's obviously something there, because the Two of Cups is coming up in your advice energy, in your advice card. So there's something, but there's not enough, right? It's kind of, I see this card as like the reconciliation, excuse me, Rick, so the unrequited love card. Like this is kind of like, okay, we don't really have a lot of chemistry to keep things going, even though there's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions there, not a lot of actions being taken. So it's like things are getting stale, getting a little boring. And it's kind of feeling like you're doing everything and the relationship isn't necessarily staying or not really stable. It's not moving in a direction that does prosper and growth. It sucks. But it doesn't mean that there can't be any sort of, salvation with this. I feel like too, there may be a lack of understanding, because I feel like, you see yourself, you have yourself in high self-esteem, high esteem, which is great. But I feel like the thing that's lacking right now is that there may be a lacking of treating the person the very same way you would treat yourself, or how you would expect people to treat you. So I don't know if you are, not saying that you're just kind of talking down to the person, treating them like crap, but I feel like this person is very, very similar to you. If you're busy all the time, they're busy all the time, which makes it very hard to plan things. But no, not hard, but it makes it, it kind of gives you a looking glass to see how other people see you, or how you are with other people, and you have to kind of work with this in a way to build the relationship. The Two of Cups is like the key, right? If you're struggling right now, it's because you guys are too similar, or you guys are very, very much the same. And not in the sense like, okay, they're too similar, you may want to scrap the book on that one. Not at all. I'm saying, like, in order for you to make something out of the relationship, you have to treat them the same way. You have to treat them how you would want to be treated. So, for instance, as far as planning goes, like the Queen of Pentacles is all about organization and planning. This person may be a stickler when it comes to planning. That's probably why they may not be reaching out, because they're always so busy, and it can't be consistent if they're so busy, right? It's like they can't be consistent right now necessarily, because maybe there's a lot of things that come up that are not necessarily in a very inconsistent place. And I feel like the Five of Cups is usually very inconsistent. It's not, yes, there's a lack in something, but it's not like it's coming in a repetitive fashion, routinely coming in. There's a lack. So there's something lacking here. I'm probably gonna look that up, right? Let's go ahead and see what's lacking right now as far as the connection goes. Why is the Five of Pentacles coming up? Some of you guys, and maybe that there may be a lacking of receiving too. The Hermit may be coming up, lacking of Nine of Pentacles. So I mean, obviously, right? We went from 9 going close to completion to dropping back all the way to like 4 steps. So maybe there's this like feeling of someone holding on to certain ideals or a certain structure, because the Four of Pentacles usually means like something that's a foundation and it's built up to as far as it could go, but there can't be any more growth. I get it. So the Nine of Pentacles is indicating to me that what dropped down is that there's a certain way of being when you're by yourself. There's like a sense of compromise that has to come with it. The Four of Pentacles, doesn't talk about any sort of compromising. It literally means that, hey, you're in a place of stability. That's great, but there's no growth coming from this. You can't grow from it. There's no way to move on from it. So I feel like the only way for things to move forward is to not remove yourself, but like no longer just feel like you're the only person in the relationship, or no longer kind of think about just yourself in this scenario. Because what's lacking is the understanding that's required for a relationship to blossom. I'm a Libra, I get this very well. Relating to people is a big thing. And this person is very similar to you. So if you're in a gilded cage, they're in a gilded cage. So they're busy with stuff, swamped with things, can't do stuff at short notice. They have to kind of be treated like a business partner, have things organized, planned in a certain way. And it may kind of feel like, oh, that's so unexciting and not very spontaneous. But that means that's because you're not very spontaneous or very active at the moment to do anything like that. That's not bad. You don't need to be all those things. But if you want to be all those things, you have to make space for it. So the Four of Pentacles that's coming up, which is not really okay. That's what's missing, but that's what you drop down to. 9 and minus 4 is what? 9 minus 5 is 4. So what is the thing that you're dropping back to? The reason why we're back to 5 is because we're holding on to something, to a gilded cage or some sort of comfort zone that in the way that we are as by ourselves, and how we are, how we try to kind of treat other people around us because of how we see ourselves in esteem, that has to change. They can't kind of come with you. Unfortunately, you have to treat the person the same way. So maybe there's certain things that you would do right for yourself, or you need other people to do, because of course you are highly valuable, right? You know what, you don't want people to play with your time. So maybe, there's certain things that you have to have done in a certain way in order for this to kind of pass, for you to accept something, for you to do anything. This person is the same way. You can't expect someone to drop something last minute, and then, when you aren't expected to do that, when you will not do that for anybody else. So it's the same thing. So how that has to change is how you have operated your life, right? How are you doing things solo? You have to start including people. You have to treat this person with the same sort of respect that you have for yourself, which is totally fine and needs to do. But it also puts you in a position where you can include someone else. That's maybe a little hard right now for those of you that may be feeling like, okay, yeah, I'm putting myself out there in a really big way, and I don't really have a lot of signs of commitment. Guys, there's no guarantee for anything, right? And I think the reason why I love Leo so much is because even though you know that there isn't a guarantee, you're still gonna do it because it's coming from a genuine and genuinely loving place. You guys have such really huge hearts. You guys are yeah, I know the risks, but I'm willing to take it because this is what I love, this is what I see value in, this is something I see as a gold mine, right? So I feel like this is worth the time investing. So we have here in the future is the Page of Pentacles, and I feel like this is it's a real meaningful, valuable relationship, and it's a step in the right direction. Definitely will take some working on. It's not gonna happen, this sort of how you've been living solo by yourself. Y'all have been single, or living like you're single, or feeling like you're single. There's a lot of things that you have to unlearn in order to relearn, perhaps, especially when it comes to incorporating a new person into your life. That's not gonna happen overnight, and you know that, and it's okay, because this is a step towards a really beautifully manifested relationship, right? A relationship it takes time and consideration for both of y'all. So I don't see a problem with this at all. See this person, either you coming in to offer something very serious with this person, or this person doing the same. But either way, it's recognizing what you're holding on to that keeps you feeling single and alone and isolated, because you got two cards here that both indicate isolation. So there's not a lot of seeing eye to eye, because there's a lot of stuff lacking, and that lacking has to do with building a foundation, because there's already one that's built within you, which is perfect, but you're not expanding here either. You have to leave the comfort zone to do that, and that comfort zone is the rules and the things that keep you from being able to expand in your life. That has to do with making time for people, or doing something that necessarily not necessarily doing something spontaneous when someone offers it to do it, or anything like that, or maybe even flexing regarding money. But it definitely has to do with treating someone as if they have important things to do, like you have important things to do. It's very similar. You guys are literally the same way. So treat yourself how you would want to be treated, or treat this person how you would want to be treated, because they will treat you the same way back, because you're literally very similar, if not the same as that person. Okay, so the advice is the Two of Cups, seeing the person as the same. And I feel like with the Emperor coming up in the hopes and fears, I know I just hopped over the Hermit energy. I'll be back to that. I feel like they're tied together. It's there is a bit of a power thing. I feel like somebody wants to be more receptive, or maybe at least feel like there's a certain there's some sort of control, maybe, with some certain things being a certain way. Their way or the highway, because I always see the Emperor as someone that definitely takes control, takes steers, it takes the steering wheel, right? This is someone that's a front seat driver in the way, and I kind of feel like something for you guys kind of want someone that's an alpha too, or someone that will definitely take control, take the wheel, but I kind of feel like you don't want to let go of your own control, though. You don't want to lose that position in your own life. So you kind of want someone that feels that's an alpha in their own life, and they can keep that alphaness to their side, maybe even spoil you here and there. But then you want to still be the alpha too. You want to still be the Don Data of the the situation. So Let's see why the Emperor is coming up, and this I think that's why like, the situation is like, okay, if it's lacking, it's lacking something, may as well just continue to be single. But this is making you look within yourself. This lack in this situation is making you look at who you are. Look at not necessarily because like you're the reason as to why things are not moving. No, but I think there's something here where you see how much you've overcome, see how much you've grown, looking at the situation as far as like figuring out what the answers will be. And I feel like you guys already know that the situation is connected to who you are and how you are as a person, and that there's a lot of similarities in between you two that require a little bit of adjusting. But otherwise, yeah, I think this relationship is going to be stellar. It's just recognizing the two compatible people can be compatible. They just have to treat each other with the same respect as they treat themselves, rather. So let's see. Why is the Emperor coming up as in their hopes and fears? Why is the Emperor coming up in their hopes and fears? I'm shuffling so much. But anyway. Okay, that's not bad. Four of Wands. That is moving up in a relationship, commitments, being in a position where you can expand. That's the Four of Wands, where there is potential for expansion. It's just appreciating how far you've come, appreciating the work that you've put in, and recognizing the accomplishment of that. Right? This accomplishment of working hard, saving money, and finding a home is moving into that place and being happy in the place. Right? And then after that, you start buying furniture. That's expanding and moving forward in the house. Right? But it's like recognizing and being happy with what you have. So the Four of Wands. Why is the Four of Wands coming up for the Emperor? And it's coming up because of the Seven of Swords, because you took a risk. Literally being awesome, pretty much. With the Seven of Swords, yeah, it's taking a risk. What is this? Two of Swords. Okay. So I kind of feel like what the Emperor is trying to say in this scenario is that, there may be some sort of desire for someone to take control. Because I feel like at the same time, you've already kind of, reached this period in your life where you're ready to expand. You already put yourself out there. But there's somebody that's not really like acknowledging those advances, or somebody was like in denial at first, like, nah, this is just this is what it is for the moment, or they weren't looking at the truth at the time because they didn't want to be honest with something. I feel like somebody wants to feel empowered with taking a step towards finalizing a relationship. Honestly, like, you don't want to feel afraid. You want to just, or maybe not necessarily afraid, but you just want to do it despite how you feel. Because ultimately your truth is that you do want to move forward with this person. You do want to make this relationship happen. So the Ten of Coins, I love this card because this literally means, commitment. This is the ultimate commitment card. I love it. Well, other than the Hierophant and the Lovers and all that. The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Coins is coming up, and it's literally saying this is a relationship that has the potential to take you towards, that could create a beautiful family, like this typical, like, suburban household. I'm just playing, but whatever your happy ever after looks like, it's physically manifested here. It is literally around you, your friends and family all around you, your partner. You feel grounded, you feel safe, you feel great. And the Ten of Cups is such a beautiful card to have here at the outcome. It's literally about treating the person the same way as you treat yourself, and things will explode from there. Things will be excellent from there. So let's see what, from the Power of Surrender, what do we have to let go of? Or what is it that we have to surrender to get what we want? What sacrifices may be needed here? Let's take a look. All right. Surrender to setting limits. Yeah. It's healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. So it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to have those things. But everybody else has boundaries too. And I feel like your boundaries that you have are very similar to the person's boundaries that they're dealing with. The only problem I'm having is if the person that you're communicating with or dealing with hasn't communicated with you about these boundaries, it can make it very hard to deal with this person. And let's just go straight up. Because, and then at the same time, if you haven't been communicating with people about your limitations and your boundaries, and you just kind of like, hey, well, this is how it has to be, this is how it is, and they didn't know it, that may be why you may be experiencing something like that. So, like, for instance, somebody may suggest doing something, and you just kind of just say no. If you don't express your boundary around why there was a no there, or why you declined, or maybe express your needs or express your boundaries to be able to work with the person that maybe wants to develop that relationship with you, the situation here may be very similar to that situation, that scenario. Not because you brought it on yourself, this is karma, this is what you get. None of that is happening. It's not what I'm saying. But this may be why all that, if you guys are not like kind of like feeling like you're in the dark and you're just kind of like, trying to feel it, play it by ear, and you're not getting any responses back, or you're just kind of getting shut down a lot. It's this card is saying communicate your limits, or put limits down if you don't have any sort of boundaries at all. But if you do, communicate those boundaries and then request that you have that kind of boundary thing, that kind of boundary communication with the other person, so that way you know what they need to make the relationship work. Because it's literally all about time and working together. And you guys have the fates. So you are the way you are because of the things that you've been through, the things that you survived. And same with this other person. So whatever, whoever you are, you brought a very strong, because I feel like you guys are hella strong right now. Very, very strong. You brought in a very strong person. But of course, with that strength, you've learned boundaries. You've learned things that you need to have to make sure that you are not only treated with respect, but giving yourself love at the same time. And the same person is dealing with this here. So you brought someone into your life that's very similar to you. They have strong boundaries. They have things they need that honestly keeps them on a very solid level. That is a really big thing. I feel like that's really strong. And with that kind of understanding of each other, you guys can go miles. You guys can go so far. It's just literally understanding that the past has brought you here, but you can do something with what you know to create a beautiful future. Your fate is not a determined thing. It's really the fates to me is always just like a card that says literally the past. The past is that has created now. The past created who you are, but you get to create your future based off of what you've learned from the past, right? And this is literally those things. And this person is literally connected to you, like not connected to you, but brought to you because you guys are in a place where there is obviously room for expansion. There's room for growth. And it's noticing that room, and it's noticing that maybe some blockages, maybe in your own boundary system, or there is some things that may have to be tweaked for the betterment of the growth of the relationship for both of y'all.